So I can tell you it is a real delight for me to be here at the heart of Guinness, and I'm here with Cal, and I want to talk a little bit about the history of Guinness, because it's world known and it has a really wonderful beginning.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of founded on ambitious nature, if you like. In 1759, a young man named Arthur Guinness moved to Dublin. He was originally from Kildare, just south of this county, and he agreed to rent this dilapidated, this rundown brewery for 9,000 years.
Oh, and how did that work out? I mean,
Worked out quite well.
that has to.
Yeah, got to look at Guinness today, you'd probably say he made the right choice. A lot of people would ask why he committed to the place for so long. On this site, he was promised a free supply of water.
Oh, wow.
At the time, that
makes
was
a difference.
Pretty eventful.
And then you actually have that thing is right here.
This is
what he signed.
This is the lease he would have signed in 1759. One of the more obvious things about it, even today, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, a lot of people can still recognize his signature.
Wow.
Because that appears on every glass, every bottle, every can, every T-shirt worldwide. That's one of our main symbols. We're actually so proud of the ambition that this shows.
Well, clearly, this is not what this started. This is a massive building. How many acres covers this now?
Well, the brewery itself today is coming up on about 60 acres.
Wow.
The storehouse was actually built in 1904 as a fermentation plant. In 1988, it was closed down with Brewhouse 3 being opened, and in 2000, it was opened as this tourist attraction.
And it really, he was part of this business. I mean, he came up with the things that created Guinness, basically.
Very much so. He was at the heart of it, a master brewer. People talk about the marketing, the history, even the ambition that Arthur Guinness showed. At the end of the day, he loved beer. We were founded on beer.
Yeah. And I did want to say one other thing. He got the money from a relative or something that...
His godfather, yeah. Arthur Guinness's godfather was the Archbishop of Cashel. Wow. His father would have actually worked for this Archbishop making beer for church events. And it's through that inheritance, £100 that Archbishop left him, that he started brewing. He invested in a small brewery first in Elixer, also Kildare, just south of Dublin. And then December 31st, 1759, he expanded operations. He moved to Dublin to rent this land.
And what I love too is there's some great information about the actual ingredients, how they were found, how he created this. So let's go to another location over here.
Of course, yeah, we'll get talking about what actually makes the beer that made us famous.
Right. All right, Cal, now we are in the room where you show all the different ingredients. And I have to say that I was always under the impression that Guinness was like some weird amount of mystical things that no one could find, but really it's a very simple recipe.
Very simple recipe, yeah. There's 4 ingredients in Guinness, kind of the same as most beers, to be honest. What we do to them makes it a little bit different. You have barley, hops, there's yeast over there, and then there's water behind us. So I'll take you through all 4 of them one by one, even in their stages. So first thing we use in Guinness, barley, all Irish, always has been. Every year, in fact, we manage to use 100,000 tons of it to make our beer. Quite a lot of it, yeah. The next one then, you have hops over in the far side. They are a tall vine-like plant. You'll see them in a lot of places across the US. They do 2 main things. First of all, they're a natural preservative. They're antibacterial, so you're going to export your beer and need a lot of hop to keep it fresh. That's where IPAs come from. And after that, they're also a bittering agent. So East and West Coast of the States are very good markets for hops. Like Washington State is probably one of the best producers of hops in the world. If you ever drive by a hop farm there, you might actually use for Guinness.
Yeah, there you go. That's fun.
Pretty good one. And Australia is a very good one too.
You also have a weird kind of really secretive yeast though, right?
The yeast is pretty secretive. Yeah, we try to be very open and honest about this process, but the yeast is kind of secretive. We've been using the same strand of yeast now for over 200 years.
Wow. And then, of course, water.
Probably the most self-explanatory ingredient you can think of. 95% of a pint of beer is water. So it's obviously very important what you put in. Our water comes from the Wicklow Mountains, which are just south of Dublin. You can see them from our gravity bar at the very top. And that is, again, the same source that would have been used by the Guinness family 257 years ago.
And speaking of that bar at the top, we're going to go up there now because you're going to show me how to pour, which is, there's a science to pouring this and have a pint for ourselves.
So this is what makes it. May as well see the final product, will we?
That's right. So now, Cal, we are literally at the top of Guinness, and we are in what is called it's amazing. It's called the Gravity Bar. I love it because it's very modern, and yet throughout the whole thing, you can walk around and see the old parts of Dublin, and that reminds me of how old this company is and how great the beer is made. So tell me a little bit about those processes with what we talked about, that the ingredients are.
I suppose it is a good time to talk about them as well, because from here you can see, first of all the brewery, and then you see the context for the brewery in Dublin City where Arthur Guinness made his name by making this beer. In general, making beer, brewing is fairly simplistic. We've got 6 steps: milling, mashing, separation, cooking or boiling, fermentation, and then maturation, right? So the first thing we do to make Guinness, we take all the barley we saw downstairs, the roasted, the malted, the unmalted, and we mill it, we crush it to quite a fine kind of powder, if you like, kind of like flour. The grist is then mixed with hot water for 2 hours. Then this mixture, again, your grains, your enzymes, your starch, your water, is transferred into a big thing that we call a keeve, and then it will filter it out through the bottom to give you a really thick, really kind of sugary liquid called wort. After that, you take your wort, again your rich sugary liquid, you bring it over to a big kettle, you boil it at 105 Celsius, so just above the boiling point of water, for about 80 minutes, and during that process we add in the hops. It's cooled right down to room temperature, about 20 Celsius, in and around that, and we add in the Guinness yeast over at the fermentation plant. Bring it over to a maturation tank and leave it there for about 6 days. All in all, making a pint of Guinness, you're talking about 9 days. So 1 day for the wort, 2 days fermentation, 6 days maturation, which if you look at the industry is again quite quick, and we're quite good at it at this stage.
And whatever it is, it makes an absolutely delicious pint of beer, doesn't
Very
it?
hard to say anything against it, isn't it?
It's very hard to say anything. So now, you know, if you want more information on this, you can certainly go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website, but you really want to make sure that everybody knows the best way to have a pint of Guinness is
At your own pace, in moderation, and of course chilled.
all right.
Sláinte. You gotta get the mustache in. You're missing the mustache. Come on, amateur.